of interest, Mr. Speaker, because it's something about the public service values and principles. Amendment Bill, National Assembly, number 46 of 2022. Mr. Speaker, Senator Ledama, myself, Senator Crystal Lasige, and a number, Senator Tobiko, a number of senators, Mr. Speaker, did contribute, and I want to appreciate for finding time, sharing their thoughts, Mr. Speaker, because I know public service is one of the key components in the development of any country. I know in counties, Mr. Speaker, and I hope when we pass this bill, it will be reflective, Mr. Speaker, of what happens at County Public Service Board. Mr. Speaker, the upshot of this bill in quick succession is Article 10 on principles of good governance and national values, Mr. Speaker, and also Article 232 on values of public service, Mr. Speaker. Mainly is integrity, it is issues of transparency, issues of hard work, issues of commitment, Mr. Speaker, and I think these are virtues and values that should be ingrained in any public servant, Mr. Speaker. I know us as members of the Senate and members of Parliament or in leadership position, Mr. Speaker, are people, Mr. Speaker, who should also hold those values and principles, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we want to see our public service being professional. Mr. Speaker, we want to encourage that we use meritocracy, Mr. Speaker, because in many instances, especially in the public sector, Mr. Speaker, we have seen situations where as people get closer to the governance, the corporate governance and decision makers of chief executive managing directors, Mr. Speaker, there is always not so much meritocracy. So I want to challenge the Public Service Commission that they need, Mr. Speaker, to look at meritocracy, to look at professionalizing our public service, Mr. Speaker. More so, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the County Public Service Board, Mr. Speaker. When you go to most counties, public service boards of the counties has been politicized, Mr. Speaker. Most of the governors, and a number of them, like Kisii Governor, Mr. Speaker, did an head count, did audit of workers, but they have never given us the report as to what really happened, Mr. Speaker, because we have had this misnomer. Most governors will always tell you they are ghost workers, but there is no such report on head count and audit, Mr. Speaker, of human resource within the counties, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I saw also the EACC and DCI the other day, they found a number of public servants, Mr. Speaker, or with the fake or fictitious academic documentation that they are presented, Mr. Speaker. We want to call upon that let us professionalize, let us maintain integrity within the public service sector. More so to counties, I wish, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, that going into the future, I pray one day that no matter who is a governor of any specific county, any worker within that county should not be worried that there is a change of governor or another governor is coming. Let us professionalize the public service, even at the County Public Service Board, Mr. Speaker. I know when I say this, Senator Onyonga gets fired up because of the challenges he's facing at Kisii County, Mr. Speaker. But I know in fullness of time, as we inculcate and indoctrinate, we would want to see professional public service in Meru County, Mr. Speaker, where you come from, Mr. Speaker. We don't want, and also to challenge workers that work in county. When you serve, you are serving office of the county governor. You are not serving an individual. I have seen situation when a governor is not re-elected or a governor finishes his term, some workers or some within county governments become sick and lose hope. Since they were serving that individual, they were not serving a county. So I want to challenge county workers, serve the county government, don't serve an individual governor. And that is how we'll professionalize our public service and public sector in general, Mr. Speaker. And I have seen also, we want to advise, to ask courts also, Mr. Speaker, in the Labor Relations Act, Article 232, and other values, Mr. Speaker, to also be considered before making rulings, especially on labor disputes, Mr. Speaker. We have seen courts are just making labor, like the one against Kenya Revenue Authority staff that were hired, Mr. Speaker. If such matter can be reviewed, it has been overtaken by events because most of those young people, Mr. Speaker, have reported to duty. And we want to collect more taxes to ensure the president and the Kenya Kwanza government have sufficient revenue to transform this country, Mr. Speaker. So I want to ask courts also to be sensitive when they are making decisions, especially concerning issues of labor disputes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank your office and other stakeholders. I want to thank my brother, member of National Assembly, Mheshimiwa Rahim Daud, who coincidentally comes from your county, for coming together so that we co-sponsor. My challenge, Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge my colleagues from the both sides, both minority and majority. Let us use this strategy of co-sponsoring. When you have a bill here, look for a co-sponsor at the National Assembly. When a bill comes from the National Assembly, work with our colleagues, because in any way, we must work together for the betterment of Kenyans. So, Mheshimiwa Rahim Daud, we have worked together, Mr. Speaker, for this bill. I want to encourage the majority and minority rights. Let us co-sponsor this bill going into the future. With many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second and request that the putting of question be deferred until a later date as per the standing orders. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Cherargei. Let's go to the next order.
Order number 13,